You're watching CBS7 News at 9 on the CW and live on the CBS7 YouTube channel with Alexandra Macia and Tom Tieferteller.
We're at a certain level this year. Next year, we fully expect in every area that we're better next year than we are this year. That is always our opportunity.
Coming up on CBS7 News at 9, ECISD showed major improvements in their STAR testing. We'll break down what the scores mean for students in the Permian Basin in just a few minutes. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for CBS7 News on the CW, and thanks for joining us live on the CBS7 YouTube. I'm Alexandra Macia. Odessa City Council member Mark Macia went through a traumatic event involving a trailer crushing his hand. His oldest son was there to save him from being stuck for possibly hours. And now the city decided to honor him in a special way. Councilmember Mark Macia describes his accident as one of the most excruciating pains he's ever felt. But just 2 days ago, he was seen in tears after announcing August 22nd as Wyatt Macia Day for his heroic actions. Councilmember Macia was changing the tires off a trailer he was repairing when the jack that was holding the truck up malfunctioned. His son Wyatt was coming back from picking up a delivery when he heard his dad screaming and quickly reacted. Wyatt was lucky to find a forklift and lift the truck just enough for his dad to get his hand out and possibly save him from losing his hand.
And then the skin was over my fingers, so you could see all the interior of my hand. You can see the bones, you can see the nerves, you can see everything, and the tendons. So we were like, there's no way I'm going to keep this.
Macia was taken to the ER and then airlifted to San Antonio University Hospital for operation. He's expected to have surgery on his index finger, and he won't be able to have full function on that one, but he will be able to move his other 4 fingers once he fully recovers. And in your education news, the 2023 numbers are in for STAR testing, and the schools in the Permian Basin showed major improvements across the board. The STAR test looks at scores 3rd through 8th graders in math, reading and writing, science, and social studies. Last week, ECISD received their official results for the STARS and EOC testing, where ECISD passed 12 out of the possible 15 areas of STAR testing. The 2023 STAR test was the first of a brand new redesigned test that made the test computer-based and featured a new type of question that hasn't been seen before.
Many questions had multiple answers, and so instead of the traditional pick the correct answer, some of the questions were pick the answers that are correct, and so that presented some new challenges and opportunities for students.
With grades 3 through 8 testing for reading and language, ECISD saw a 16% increase in passing rates, while the state saw a 2% decrease overall. In math, ECISD saw a 31% increase, while the state only saw a 6% increase. 5th and 8th graders across ECISD saw a 4% increase passing rate for science, while the state saw a 5% decrease, and for ECISD 8th grade students who took the social studies test, they saw a 10% increase in their passing grades, while the state had a 1% increase. And it's time to take a look at weather. Meteorologist Sawyer McElroy is here to tell us what we can expect. Sawyer.
Well, Alexandra, I was out at the Midland County Fair earlier today. It was a warm one out there, but not quite as bad as we have been seeing. Current temperatures in the 80s and 90s across the state. Currently 88 in Lubbock, 86 in Amarillo, 89 in the Midland and Odessa area. And a little bit closer to home, those temperatures in the 80s and 90s. 90 degrees currently in Odessa, 85 in Pecos, 80 degrees in Alpine. And those winds, not too bad out there, just a light breeze, anywhere from being calm to about 15 miles per hour, with some gusts up to about 22 miles per hour across portions of the region. We did see some showers earlier, but starting to see those diminishing as we have lost our daytime heating. Otherwise, quiet conditions out there for us for our Thursday night. And as we head through tonight, those conditions are going to be mild into the 70s for our overnight lows, and we are going to see those kind of cooler temperatures sticking around for the next 10 days, along with some more rain chances on the way.
Thanks, Sawyer. There are going to be so many activities throughout the weekend at the fair, the Midland County Fair this weekend. This is the 14th year of the Midland County Fair, and the goal for this year is to provide something for people with all kinds of interests. The carnival opens tonight, and there is a Ferris wheel, a petting zoo, a fun slide, and much more. But many people have set up shop to sell their products, whether it is food or something else.
You know, there's so many food booths, there's so many things for kids, the carnival, lots of vendors. There's going to be lots of entertainment on the stages, just happiness for everybody.
Vendors will be opening inside the Horseshoe, and new activities will be added throughout the weekend. United Way is also hosting their Hope Fest for the second year with the Midland County Fair. Action starts tomorrow at 3, and the vendors inside the Horseshoe open at 5. The fair opens at 10 a.m. on Saturday and noon on Sunday. In continuing coverage, last week in Odessa, a fire incident unfolded that burned an RV and a metal shed. 2 puppies lost their lives in the tragic fire. Officials say that this tragedy highlights the need for pet owners to plan for their animals in cases of emergencies. City officials caution pet owners to consider what flammable materials they are leaving their animals alone with when they are away. It is also important to be prepared for unexpected events.
Pets and fire prevention is really important. Knowing what the risks can be, so candles, especially with cattails or dog tails, having a screen in front of a fireplace to keep the animals out of there.
Pets can cause a fire by accident, and it is important to have a plan ready in case a fire starts at home. Across the nation, Donald Trump is headed back to his home in New Jersey, to his golf club in New Jersey, after posting bond at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta. The former president surrendered to authorities Thursday evening on felony charges that he conspired to overturn the 2020 presidential election results in Georgia. Christian Benavides is outside the jail with the latest.
Donald Trump departed Atlanta Thursday evening after a motorcade took him to the Fulton County Jail. There, he was booked on 13 felony charges for his alleged efforts to reverse his 2020 election loss in Georgia.
What has taken place here is a travesty of justice.
Inside the jail, he posted a $200,000 bond, was fingerprinted, and a first for a former U.S. president, had his mugshot taken.
I got Kool-Aid here for you.
Outside the jail, there were some Trump critics, but a larger group of supporters.
He's being persecuted.
The charges stem from this January 2nd, 2021 conversation with Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
You should be able to challenge an election. I thought the election was a rigged election.
Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis asked the judge to set a trial date of October 23rd. The Trump legal team has already objected to that date, essentially saying they're not looking for a speedy trial.
For Trump, I think it is helpful to delay. For other people, that might not be the case.
All 19 defendants in this case were given until noon on Friday to surrender. Several have already shown up, including Trump's former personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and Trump's former White House chief of staff, Mark Meadows. The Fulton County prosecution is the 4th criminal case against Trump, the Republican frontrunner in the 2024 presidential campaign. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Atlanta.
The entire process with Trump at the jail took less than 30 minutes. And we have breaking news overnight from California, where at least 3 people were killed in a mass shooting at a historic biker bar. 2 of the 6 injured are in critical condition. It happened in Orange County, southeast of Los Angeles. Carter Evans is there in Trabuco Canyon.
If anybody's seen this, stay the away from Cook's Corner. There's a shooting going on.
Chaos at one of Southern California's most popular biker bars Wednesday night.
We have friends that are in the bar right now waiting for us. They were right next to the shooter. It's pretty chaotic.
After a gunman opened fire at Cook's Corner, killing at least 3 people and injuring 6 others.
It's obviously a horrible and a tragic situation. The
These types of shootings are not commonplace here in Orange County.
The Orange County Sheriff's Department says the first 911 call came in at 7:04 p.m. and within 2 minutes, deputies were on scene. Minutes later, one of them fired shots at the suspect.
The male subject was pronounced deceased at the scene.
Sources told CBS Los Angeles that the gunman was a retired law enforcement officer and the shooting may have started as a domestic incident between him and his wife. The Sheriff's Department is still working to confirm that information.
And we heard gunshots just randomly start going off. And then a few minutes later, we heard it kind of increasing. We were kind of scared, and then we kind of ran back inside.
Jonathan Ziv lives nearby and heard gunfire. He says the historic bar is a beloved spot for bikers and families.
It's a very family-friendly place. Like usually on like spaghetti nights or the taco nights, you always see lots of family people there. I've been there many times throughout my life, so I really enjoy it there. And it's kind of crazy that something like this could happen right in my backyard.
Carter Evans, CBS News.
Now to a shocking turn of events in Russia, where Yevgeny Prigozhin, the head of the Wagner mercenaries who tried to overthrow Russian President Vladimir Putin, appears to have been killed in a plane crash. Deborah Pata has the story.
Caught on camera, unverified footage of the plane tumbling from the sky with a missing wing, then bursting into flames north of Moscow. With unusual speed, Russian aviation authorities announced the mercenary boss was among the 10 people who died in that crash. Wagner social media channels claim the jet was shot down. There's been no official word from the Kremlin, but President Biden said he was not surprised.
There's not much that happens when Russia is not behind.
Kremlin watchers wonder if this was the moment Prigozhin signed his death warrant. That audacious mutiny, an unprecedented challenge to Vladimir Putin. The former convict had a meteoric rise from Kremlin chef to warlord, spreading Russia's influence in Syria and Africa. As a close Putin confidant, he appeared untouchable, even laughing about his inevitable death. We'll all go to hell, but in hell we'll be the best, he jokes. Prigozhin has made his billions plundering natural resources on the African continent. And last year, he came to Putin's rescue in Ukraine, throwing convicted murderers and thieves into the bloody battle for Bakhmut.
One of the most striking images of Prigozhin's short-lived mutiny was his forces shooting down a Russian military plane, raising the question, surely Putin would never let this go unpunished. Deborah Pata, CBS News, Dnipro.
Now for a look at today's top headlines, shown here in real time with real viewers on CBS7.com. See all of these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. And still ahead, the CDC is sounding the alarm on a spike in sepsis. We'll have what you need to know in just a few minutes. Your health headlines, the CDC is sounding the alarm on sepsis in hospitals and is issuing new guidelines to improve outcomes for patients. At least 1.7 million adults in the U.S. develop sepsis, and 1 in 3 people who dies in a hospital had sepsis during their stay. CBS's Bradley Blackburn introduces us to one teen who survived and is helping advocate for others.
When Alice Tapper was 14 years old, she was hospitalized with a case of appendicitis, but doctors misdiagnosed it as a viral infection.
They weren't worried. They were treating me like I was a little bit dramatic when my body was slowly shutting down and my organs were failing.
The appendicitis had led to sepsis, a life-threatening infection that spreads rapidly throughout the body. Her parents, Jennifer and news anchor Jake Tapper, saw their daughter slipping away.
We were very close to the end.
Sepsis can be a confusing clinical picture and can be difficult to diagnose at times.
Dr. Raymond Dantes is a medical advisor for the CDC, which found while 73% of U.S. hospitals have sepsis teams, only about half provide dedicated time for leaders to manage those programs.
We want to improve outcomes and long-term recovery for patients with sepsis.
So does Alice. She and her mom joined the CDC to announce sepsis core elements to help hospitals ramp up care.
CDC believes sepsis programs in every hospital, regardless of size, location, and resources, can strengthen the quality of care delivered to these patients and ensure their survival.
Alice's recovery took months and multiple antibiotics.
I had to learn how to walk again, basically, because I was so weak and exhausted.
Today, she's strong. Her family wants others to know about sepsis.
It's an alarm bell for the whole country to just be aware you don't need to get this sick.
And be ready to fight an infection that can happen to anyone. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Well, we are looking at the cooler weather to stick around throughout the next 10 days and some more rain chances as well. I have all the details on that coming up after the break.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's meteorologist Sawyer McElroy.
Happy Thursday, everybody. It was another warm one out there. Taking a look at those observed high temperatures across the region. 95 in Lubbock for today, 94 in Amarillo, 96 in Presidio, and some triple digits off to the east and eastern Texas. And heading a little bit closer to home, looking at those observed highs, 96 in Midland and Odessa, 91 in Pecos, 89 in Alpine. So still saw some 80s across portions of the area, but most of us were in the 90s for today. Speaking of those current temperatures, still in the 80s and 90s. Alpine down to 80 degrees. 90 still here in Odessa, so still warm for us for tonight. We had a little bit breezy conditions earlier today, but those winds have relatively calmed down, anywhere from about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Live radar, we had a few showers earlier, but those are looking to diminish as we have lost our daytime heating. Quiet conditions out there for us tonight. And looking at the Texas satellite and radar, just a few clouds across portions of the area, but overall quiet conditions throughout the Lone Star State as a whole. For our weather headlines, temperatures, while those cooler conditions are going to continue, I know I am excited about that with those 90s sticking around. Precipitation wise, we do have some slight rain chances for the weekend, mainly out west and for those higher elevations, with higher chances across more of the area early next week. For Futurecast, heading through the overnight hours, quiet conditions, looking to see those clouds clearing out heading into our Friday. Mostly sunny skies throughout the day, but we also do have the chance for some showers and thunderstorms across the higher elevations and out west once again tomorrow. But overall, the majority of us are going to be quiet for our Friday. A great end to the work week ahead. For our weather makers, that high pressure system slowly making its way back west, in control of our weather again. We are going to see a little bit warmer temperatures for the weekend, but we are also tracking another cold front, or shall I say cool front, into the new week. For Friday, 99 in Midland and Odessa for those highs, 96 in Fort Stockton, 89 in Alpine, and overall another hot day ahead for us here in West Texas and Southeast New Mexico. For our CBS7 First Alert exclusive 10-day forecast, like I said, though, we are tracking a cool front or a cold front to move through the area, dropping those temperatures and bringing the chance for some more rain across the area. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that as we get a little bit closer to Monday and Tuesday of next week.
Still ahead, mortgage rates are increasing and an eye drop brand is sending out a warning to users. That and more next in your Consumer News. U.S. mortgage rates are the highest they've been since 2001. The 30-year fixed rate average is 7.23% for the week ending Thursday. That's up 1/14 of a point from the prior period. The new data is from Freddie Mac, and its chief economist predicts rates will stay at this level or climb higher in the short term. Federal Reserve hikes and low inventory are influencing the rate. Homeowners seem reluctant to sell knowing the cost of a new mortgage. And the FDA is warning people to stop using 2 more eye drop products because of potential bacterial or fungal contamination. Regulators say Dr. Burns' MSM Drops 5% solution and Light Eye's MSM Eye Drops Eye Repair could cause vision and life-threatening infections, though no one is believed to have reported a problem. The Labor Department has announced a settlement with the company that runs Dollar Tree and Family Dollar to improve worker safety. Under the agreement, the company will find the root cause of OSHA violations cited at multiple stores, including blocked exits, unsafe storage of materials, and improper access to fire extinguishers. Federal regulators say the company is paying $1.4 million in penalties and could face future fines if hazards are not fixed. And still ahead, what's better than seeds that come from a nursery? Seeds that come from the moon. We tell you how you can get your very own moon tree next on CBS 7 News at 9. If you're a gardening fan or a space fan, we've got the perfect plant for you, a moon tree, and they are actually like regular trees, except their seeds have actually flown around Earth's natural satellite. Nearly 2,000 seeds were on the Artemis mission in 2022. They include sycamore, sweet gum, sequoia, and pine trees. The Forest Service has germinated them into seedlings that are ready to be planted. Only organizations like schools, museums, science centers, and community groups can apply for one. They have until October 6th to do so. So I guess we can't apply one for one here at CBS 7, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is super cool.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for watching CBS 7 First Alert News at 9.